There is one moment in 5 episodes where Aqua genuinely smiles. Not the performance, not the version he uses when he's managing someone or setting something up, a real one. Quiet, involuntary, the kind that happens before the person decides to let it. And honestly, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect him to be that honest. I expected him to play it cool, to keep the mask on, to find some way to make even this moment feel like part of the plan. That's been his whole season. That's been his whole character. But he didn't. And that's what made it painful in the best way. Because Oshinoko does that to you. It makes you watch someone do all of it, all the manipulation, all the cold calculation, and then it shows you that the good side is still in there, still real. And it lands even harder because you weren't ready for it. That's the scene, and if you've watched it without stopping to breathe, you missed what it actually did. Ruby is in the middle of a panic attack. The script lines are triggering something she can't control. The past life bleeding into the present. Sarina's isolation and pain surfacing while she's supposed to be preparing to perform. She's losing the boundary between who she is and who she was. And Aqua comes to help, which immediately creates a problem because Ruby has already said it. They are reborn strangers. She has closed that door deliberately, and she's furious when she hears he's pursuing the same revenge she is, because she knows exactly what that path costs. She's been on it. So when he tells her to live her own life, she tells him to stay out of it. Here is the thing though. I don't think she fully believed what she was saying. She felt cornered, desperate, alone in that moment. And I think that's actually what made Aqua sure this time, for once, he wasn't going to use her. Because he recognizes that desperation. He knows what it looks like from the inside. He admits he's being a hypocrite. He knows it. He's asking her to do something he won't do himself. And he asks her anyway, not as Ruby, as Sarina. And that's the moment it stops feeling like part of a grand Aqua revenge plan and starts feeling like his genuine self showing up. Maybe for the first time this season. When the scene switches from blue moonlight to yellow and red, you notice it immediately. There is no missing it. It's like a roller coaster, and the show is just presenting you with the colors to tell you exactly where you are emotionally. The present is cold and blue, and then Aqua says her name, Sarina, and the world shifts to warm. The hospital room, the roof, the specific light of that time, both existing at once. Her memory is playing over his words. He tells her he always had hints, traces of Sarina in Ruby, things he noticed and dismissed because he didn't let himself believe he would get a second chance. He thought it was self-serving fantasy, the mind finding patterns because it wanted them to be there. And then Ruby turns around, and just for a second, just for one frame, the Ruby she's been performing fades, and Sarina is looking at him. That moment felt like the merge, the return of the real her, not the act, not the lie Ruby had been putting up, but the person underneath it. Like finally seeing somebody dear to you when you had already lost all hope that you would. She can't believe that Sensei might be right in front of her. Not the confirmation, the possibility. Just the fact that it might be true is enough to break something open. And then Aqua sees the chain, the one from the hospital, still there, carried across everything. That was 3 seasons building to one moment. That's the payoff. And it hit exactly like a payoff should. Not as a surprise exactly, but as a confirmation of something you wanted to be true and weren't sure the show would actually deliver. The memory sequence plays, the hospital roof, Ai Hoshino, Sensei holding Sarina's hand as she was passing, being the last sight she got to see before she passed away. And you know what? That part didn't break me, because watching it, what I felt wasn't sadness, it was recognition. Sensei was always there for her when it mattered. That's what makes their relationship what it is. That's what makes Aqua so specific to Sarina. Not just that he came back, but that he was the one who stayed at the end of her first life and is here again at the beginning of everything that comes next. And this is when Aqua smiles. Not because the plan is working, because the chain is real. She kept it. And the person he was in that life was the last thing she saw. And she remembered all of it and brought it here. That's what the smile is for. When Ruby breaks down and the female vocal comes in, what she says is the most personal thing she's said all season. She always looked for him in the crowd, every performance, every time she was in front of people. She was scanning, hoping. Before this, Ruby felt calculated to me, even in her revenge arc. But here it showed her genuine side, the hopeful child, Sarina, not the performer, not the idol, just the girl who kept looking. She found him dead in a cave, and every lie after that, every step toward Ice Killer, she says it made her drift further from what she actually wanted to be. The revenge didn't give her direction, it gave her something to do with the grief, while the grief was actually still running the whole thing. And then there is the detail she drops, almost in passing, that even seeing fans' faces sometimes made her remember the killer, or other negative things she didn't want to be thinking. It went fast, but it landed, because I think that's probably real. Not literally a killer for most people, I hope, but the idea that the thing you love gets contaminated by something you can't shake. That's something actual performers probably feel and don't say out loud. It's a sad detail, and the show doesn't make a big thing of it, but it just lets it sit there. She was performing a version of healing while actually being stuck. He tells her to stop chasing I's ideal, that she doesn't have to be a liar to make it, that she can shine brighter than I, and then I will be your number one fan. What's interesting about Aqua is that he knows exactly what to say to hurt people or use them. He's demonstrated that across all seasons. He has a real gift with words. He just usually points it in a direction that serves the plan. Here, he points it somewhere else. The same skill, but completely different intention. The black aura disappears from Ruby's eye, and look, I think it was earned. Could it look like too much after one conversation? Maybe. But the show clearly wanted this moment to feel important and special. They put real weight behind it, and the aura fading did exactly that job. Whether that was the best storytelling decision, I leave that to you in the comments. But in the moment, it worked. The supernatural figure appears right after and says what the show wants you to think about. Maybe it would have been better for Aqua's plan if Ruby had stayed angry at him. Maybe he made things harder for himself by being honest. Maybe the strategic version of this conversation would have served him better. He chose the honest version anyway, and I don't think he regrets it. And then Ruby says she didn't forget his words, that he would marry her once she turned 16. The expression changes, the pose changes, hands behind her back, simple white clothing, something in her face that is completely different from the Ruby who was just crying. She touches her lips. She says, "I'm 16 now." My immediate reaction watching this was like, hell nah, man. Like, you're siblings. What are you talking about? Like, I get the past lives, I understand the history, but this? The show has been building this thread deliberately. And here is the uncomfortable truth. The way that scene was filmed, the way Ruby was presented in that moment, it was clearly intentional. They put real effort into making it feel significant, and that puts you in a lose-lose position as a viewer. If they leave it there and never build on it, why spend that much effort on it? But if they actually develop it, where does that go? The honest answer is I don't know, and I'm kind of scared to find out. But I'm also hooked, which I guess is exactly what they wanted, because I wasn't going to stop watching anyway. But now I really need to see how they solve this. This scene is the best couple of minutes of the season, not because of what happens plot-wise, because of what it does emotionally. The color shift, the chain, the smile, Ruby describing looking for him in every crowd. The show built to this across 3 seasons, and it delivered it cleanly and honestly and without overselling it. Aqua genuinely smiled once for her, and then the scene ended the way it ended, and you are left sitting with both things at the same time. The most tender moment of the season and the most uncomfortable one, back to back, in the same couple of minutes. That's Oshinoko. That's what it does. Links to the rest of the series will be on screen. Tell me in the comments, did this scene land the way it should have, or did the ending pull you out of it before it could fully settle? And what do you actually think they're going to do with that threat in season 4? Drop it below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.